Jack, we spoke, I think, about 5, 6 weeks ago. You just had your latest kid. You're building your own futsal team, Jack Junior. So how's things going? Because for once, you can actually be at home and take care of the kids, help your wife, etc.
Yeah, it's tough. That's for sure. It's good. It's different. I mean, we're living in strange times. I mean, especially in England, it's very strange, and we're under strict guidelines to stay at home. So we have to do that. We have to listen to what they're saying to help people. And no, but it's good. I'm seeing the kids more. I'll get to help out with things that I'm not used to helping out with. So it's been interesting.
Why did you do a red card tackle on your wife, though? I saw that on social media.
You know what? We were playing. I've been doing a lot of training, like a lot of running, and I woke up one day and I just thought, no, you can run as much as you like, but you can't get that fitness. Like when you're actually playing football and you're always moving. So I said to the wife, only messing around, come on, let's play. And we were playing for a while, and I was trying to nutmeg her for ages, and I was getting more and more frustrated. And in the end, I decided that I needed to tackle her.
I'm sure she appreciated it. I hope there's no injuries or anything.
She took it well.
Okay, excellent. How else are you keeping fit in this period? Because I think a lot of people are questioning, diets, trying to stay healthy at home when going to the gym is a strong part of their routine.
Yeah, diet I think is massive. I mean, I've had days where I've woke up and it felt like it was a long day. But if I get up at the same time every day around 7:30, I have breakfast with the kids, and I do a little bit of running or a little bit of training, and then I feel good. But it's, as you said, and as I said before, it's difficult to replicate that football fitness. But we have to make sure that we're in the best possible condition if the season starts again.
What else are you doing, though, apart from helping the kids and trying to keep fit? You can't be running around 24 hours a day. Are you watching any TV shows, video games, anything like that? You told me you like FIFA.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult when you've got 4 kids.
Yeah.
To justify to the wife that I'm going to be playing FIFA for a bit. But, now my kids are pretty good at 7:30. They're all in bed, all asleep. So we have a couple of hours. We have a bit of dinner, watch some TV, play PlayStation. But to be honest with you, it's from 7 till 7. I'm changing nappies or doing something for the kids. So,
what's the routine like in England? Because obviously we're 12,000 kilometers away. We are allowed to go within a 10-kilometer radius of our home, unless you have a special letter so you can go to work because you're a frontliner. Like my wife is she's in medicine, so she has to go to work every day. But what about England? Can you do grocery shopping? Can you go out and things like that?
Yeah, they recommend that you don't, but I mean, some people have to. Obviously, you have to get food. There's a lot of companies that deliver your groceries for you, they've been unbelievable. Fair play to them. They've been working, and they've got so many people to do. But yeah, no, you can go out for an hour a day, they say, to exercise, and they recommend that it's around the area you live in. They don't want you to get in the car and drive anywhere. But yeah, I mean, it's strict. I mean, it's different to anything we've ever known. And I'm lucky that I've got a park about 200 yards away, which I can run in. And I've got some walks that me and the kids have been going on. But apart from that, no, nothing.
Who are you most looking forward to seeing once this whole thing is over?
It's a good question. Probably my friends, but as well, my mum and dad, my wife's mum and dad. It's difficult for them because they're not getting the opportunity to see their grandkids. Okay, we've got FaceTime and stuff, but they're desperate to see them. So probably family, friends, and then obviously, I can't wait to get back on the pitch. Before all this, I was injured, and then I just came back, started training with the team, and all of a sudden, we had to stop. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back to football.
Yeah, I guess it must be terrible for your parents and your wife's parents because they're obviously the most acceptable, being older than we are. So they really have to keep their distance. We're still young, at least.
Yeah, and we've just had. I mean, Jack Junior he's 8 weeks old, and they didn't really get much time with him when he was a newborn. So they wanted to spend a bit more time with him, and it's difficult for them. But I'm sure that when this is all over, first thing I'm going to do is put them all in the car and drop them there, leave them there for a bit.
I think you deserve a break from them as well. I put on your Instagram, there's something called the Captain's Cup. I found that interesting because it seems to be about youth football. As an older guy now, obviously we knew you when you were young to break into the Arsenal team, but do you find yourself really interested in youth football and developing the talent of tomorrow, etc.?
Yeah, I've said that before about coaching. I started doing my badges, and obviously when you're doing your badges, you're working with kids because you can't go into first team football straight away, and that really motivates me to see the development of a player, and that's why I started the academy at JW NCF Elites, and we got kids from the age of 10 to 18, and then we've even just started ones for younger players, and it's amazing to see their development from even the space of a couple of months, from a bit of good coaching and a bit of guidance, and that really fascinates me. It's something that I want to look at when I finish.
What's the most important advice you can give to any young players who might be watching this right now, who want to be like you?
I think the main thing is to enjoy it. And I know it sounds like a cliche, but I always wanted to do it, and it came naturally to me to enjoy football. And I think there's so many kids like that. But I think as well, listen to your coaches, listen to your parents, because people forget as well, parents play a massive part in it. They have to transport you everywhere. But coaches, listen to what they say and practice.
Someone there?
Can I just shut the door?
Yeah, of course.
Sorry.
What sacrifices did your parents make for you out of interest? I remember I was chatting to Trent Alexander-Arnold, and he was telling me, kind of getting at that his brothers sacrificed their career because he was so much better than them, and his mother focused on him, taking him to games, taking him to practice, and his brothers took a back seat. You get what I mean? Yeah.
No, I totally get that. I think my family not suffered a lot, but my dad's put a lot of time into me. He sacrificed a lot for me. He used to finish work early, maybe sacrifice a bit of time with my brother and sister, but they understood. We used to live around about an hour away from the training ground, and we used to have to go there 3 times a week. So he used to finish work early, and I was straight home from school. Mum would have dinner ready, and then we'd be out the door, and we wouldn't be back till 8, 9 o'clock at night. So it was tough for them, and it was tough for my brother and sister. But I think in the end they understood.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think you can safely say it worked out okay in the end. How do you reflect back on your career so far, given what an impact you made right at the start as a teenager?
Yeah, it's the last couple of years have been frustrating. I obviously started really well at Arsenal. I was enjoying it. I was loving it, almost taking it for granted. And then I picked up an injury, and I sort of started to understand my body, started to understand that this happens in football. And then, I enjoyed my time at Arsenal, and I also went to Bournemouth, had a good year, but picked up another injury, came back and was told that I could leave, but I managed to fight and to stay and fight my way back into the team, and had a good year. And then I made a decision to leave Arsenal and join West Ham, and it hasn't worked out for me. I'll be honest, it hasn't gone the way I wanted it to. I've missed too much football. I haven't played enough games, and I want to get it back on track, get my career back on track, get playing games week in, week out, and started to feel like football again.
Out of interest, why do you think Arsenal have struggled to replicate the success they had in the late 90s and the early 2000s, culminating in the Invincibles?
I think the Invincibles were special. They had special players all over the pitch, and I'm not saying that we didn't, or they don't have now, but it was a different team. It was a different era as well. It was at Highbury. People used to fear going to Highbury, and it's difficult to say why. You put your finger on it, otherwise we would have continued that success. But they had a player like Henry as well, who was at that time untouchable, Vieira and Beckham and special players. And I think as well, because you look at Liverpool, and for me, the Invincible team the Arsenal Invincible team is a better team than Liverpool. But once you create that momentum and that fear factor, it's difficult to stop when you have that confidence and you're winning games. You know, you go into games expecting to win, and it's difficult to stop.
Yeah, and everyone in that team seems so humble and so nice. I've worked with several, Gilberto Silva, for example, Sol Campbell, and they've always stayed very grounded, down to earth, and they really care about the football. But they are special players at the end of the day.
Yeah, they're special players. They cared about the football club. A lot of them used to come back to training. You know, Pires was one who used to come and train with us, and was arguably one of the best players still in training. He was around 40, 41, 42. And, you know, we used to always see players like that around the training ground, and they were so humble. It was like they were pleased to meet us, when really we're thinking, oh my God, we're trying to do what you've done.
Yeah. I've actually got some fan questions. So we solicited via social media for this, a whole bunch of them. First one comes from Pirad, who says, who was the toughest player you ever faced?
The toughest I ever faced is Messi. It was, we played against him twice, home and away, and it was very tough, which is understandable. But that seems like an easy answer. So the one that I used to not look forward to playing against year after year was Yaya Toure, when he was at Man City, and for me, he was the best midfielder in the world. He was so difficult to play against. He was strong. He was powerful. Once he got moving with the ball, you couldn't get off him. It was impossible. All
right. Cedric says, and I think this ties into recent comments. I think it was Fabregas who was talking about this. Nasri, Cesc, and Van Persie left Arsenal to win trophies. What made you stay on, and do you regret that decision?
No, I don't. I definitely don't regret it. It was a time in my career where Arsene Wenger had showed a lot of faith in me at a young age to play in a team that were chasing the Premier League at that time. You know, we finished second in my first year, probably should have won it, and we had a great team, and I was enjoying playing in that team. And yeah, once they left as well, I felt like a responsibility as a leader, and I quite enjoyed that. And you know, obviously, I love the club. You know, I grew up at that club. I came through the system. I wanted to play in the first team, and I wasn't ready to leave after 1 year of playing in the first team.
Yeah, I can understand that. Do you think Giroud is a bit of one of the most, do you reckon he's one of the most underrated strikers in football? I'm sure you saw what Benzema said about the go-kart and the Formula One car thing.
Yeah, I think as well, he's one of them who won't be appreciated. Well, I know at Arsenal, he wasn't appreciated until he left as much. You know, some of the fans used to sometimes give him a little bit of stick, but I used to love playing with him. As I said before, you could give him the ball, and that's my game. You know, I like to run at a player and play a 1-2 around him, and he was perfect for that. He used to always give you it back. He knew where to be, and you know, he scored a lot of goals for Arsenal as well, important goals. And you know, I will always look back and think he was a joy to play with.
Yeah, and he also scored spectacular goals. Remember that scorpion kick thing?
Yeah, he scored outrageous goals, and he would try that for such a big, strong guy. He was so agile as well.
Yeah, I do enjoy watching him. And of course, he won the World Cup, so you can't say he is that underrated. If you played all the games, I know he didn't score, but he played a role in the team. Yeah,
of course. There's a reason why, you know, you look at all the strikers that France have and the quality they have, but there's a reason why their manager always picks him first, because he's reliable and he holds the ball up for you and he keeps the ball.
It seems to be a type of player that only a footballer would appreciate. Maybe a fan doesn't, because he's not extravagant. He doesn't score hat tricks every game, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. You know, when fans and people think of strikers, they think, they're going to score all the goals. And listen, I'm sure if you look at his record, he scored loads and loads of goals, but he's got so much more to his game as well. So, he is a great player.
I've got a series of questions here, which are just questions about you. They're very light-hearted. So what was the first football match you watched in a stadium? What was it like? What can you remember?
It was West Ham v Coventry. I think it was in about 2000, and West Ham won 5-0. Paolo Di Canio was one of my favourite players growing up. Loved him. Scored a hat-trick. It was at Upton Park, which was a special stadium. You know, it was an old school, great atmosphere. And I went with my brother and my dad, and I just remember it being a great day.
How old were you? Do you remember?
Yeah, so it was 2000, so I was 8. Yeah.
8. Okay. What did you spend your first paycheck on? Do you remember? Your first ever paycheck?
First car, yeah. I bought my first car. It was an Audi
Nice.
A3. And I remember it was, so I signed my first contract on my 17th birthday, which was January the 1st, but we didn't get paid till the end of the month. So I was having loads of lessons and driving lessons, that is. And I remember when we got paid, I think it was about 28th of January. We went to the Audi garage and said, I want that car. They looked at me like, well, I remember we had to sit there and it felt like 3 hours. It must have been about an hour and a half waiting for the bank to approve it because they were thinking, who's this 17-year-old kid trying to buy this car? It took ages, but I remember it. Black Audi A3.
Special car. I'm hoping it's not being sold on eBay or anything. I think I know the answer to this one, but who's your first footballing idol?
My first?
Yeah. I was going to say Di Canio because of what you said earlier on, but...
Yeah, it probably was Di Canio. No, probably not. It's probably Beckham, because I do remember the 98 World Cup, and I know it wasn't a good one for Becks, but I just remember watching him take free kicks, watching the way he played, and thinking, I want to be like him.
I think every guy, not only for his footballing ability, wants to be like. Until now, I'm still trying to look like Beckham. I'm still trying to grow my hair like Beckham did in '98. Yeah. Still not working. Who's your first celebrity crush? Don't say David Beckham.
Yeah, probably was. No, my first celebrity crush. I used to like Mariah Carey when I was really young.
This would have been what era of Mariah Carey? Are we talking Heartbreaker? Are we talking We Belong Together?
Yeah, no, We Belong Together. I remember that one. Heartbreaker. When was No, I'm not that old. Jesus, that's before.
Yeah, it came out about 96. So yeah, you would have been about 3
I was
or
4 then.
4. There you go. Yeah. Final thing. Do you have any message for the Malaysian fans out there? I mean, particularly during this period, this very weird period in world history.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm not there, so I'm not sure what it's like, but I'm pretty sure it's much like we are here in England. It's tough. Some days are good. If I could give you any advice, it would be have a routine. Go to bed, get good night's sleep, wake up, eat something, eat well. Try and get a little bit of exercise in if you can, if you're allowed to, and just be safe, be healthy, and try and do all you can to stop this from spreading anymore, because we're all in it together. It's not England and Malaysia, we're all in it together. We're trying to beat this together, so let's try and be healthy and stay safe.
All right, Jack, thank you so much for your time. I'm going to let you get back to it. Take care of some kids, change some nappies and all that.
Pleasure talking
to you soon.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.